I'm 29 years old, and my name is Robin Morris. Years old. I never considered abandoning my Lily, my 5-year-old daughter, with my Eleanor, the mother-in-law, for a single evening. Would permanently alter our life. Eleanor. And I had a poor relationship with connection. However, family is family. Correct? When I had a job emergency and couldn't decision, I grudgingly left Lily behind, assuming that everything will be all right. Lily is typically talkative during interactions with. But this time was different, Granny. There was silence on the drive home. Once at home, she spoke something in a whisper that made me feel cold. The bone. Mom. Grandma advised me to. I'll never tell you what I witnessed. If you're viewing this from any location in the world, kindly press the like button and to find out what transpired next, subscribe. You'll want to know how this works, I promise. Finishes. Millfield life wasn't precisely what I had imagined upon graduating from school for physical rehabilitation, but it had its charms. Our small 3-bedroom home, located in a peaceful suburban area, and excellent schools, making it ideal for Lily. I had established a respectable reputation at the Millfield Rehabilitation Center, where I assisted patients in their recovery from wounds and operations. My timetable was typically predictable, which enabled me to, in the afternoons, be at home for Lily. My James, his 32-year-old husband, was a salesman, director of a medical equipment company. Business. His work needed regular journey, sometimes lasting weeks. We used FaceTime calls to make it work, and establishing unique customs for when he went back to his house. James was a loyal father when he is there, but when he is not, left me as the primary caregiver most of the time. Following that was Eleanor, my mother-in-law. Our partnership had a encouraging beginning when James initially 6 years ago. She grinned, enthusiastically praised my choice of career, and were sincere in their interest in getting to know me. That facade fell apart soon after our nuptials. You're retaining the cradle in your sleeping quarters, she asked about Lily's birthdate. James. From day one, he slept in his own room. Pediatrician, builds independence. Suggested that the first 6 people share a room. Months, I said. It lowers SIDS. Danger. Eleanor's tense grin fell short of her gaze. Well, we didn't in my day. Need medical advice on how to raise kids. These little critiques turned into a trend. When Lily began to behave well. Meals, Eleanor maintained that I was presenting some foods too soon or too late. When Lily threw a fit in. With Eleanor here, I'd get a talk on the importance of discipline and reminders that James has never acted in that manner. My biggest concern was how, in public, Eleanor discredited my parenting of Lily. According to Grandma, you can have, she would remark, another cookie, after I'd declared unequivocally that one was sufficient. Or, you're not forced to nap by Grandma at my home, portraying me as the villain. Man. James observed these conflicts, yet frequently disregarded them. Just Mom. Mom, he would say. She means well. He was admirably loyal to his mother. However, it was annoying when I needed him to defend the parenting choices we have made. Eleanor's preference for James was evident. She sent care and called him every day. Parcels to his lodgings throughout business travels, and called him my ideal son in discussions. Their close bond was the result of James. When he was 12, his father passed away, leaving Eleanor will raise him by herself. I got it. Their relationship, but hoped she could deepen her devoted circle to encompass me and honor my position as Lily's mom. Lily herself was delightful, astute and shockingly truthful. Grandma used to say that her house smelled funny. Declared. Such as elderly individuals and those stinking flowers. I had to suppress a chuckle as you gently clarify, we don't make such remarks about people's residences. Lily's candid remarks frequently helped me understand what transpired while she was seeing Eleanor as I asked about Lily's birth date. James. From day one, he slept in his own room. Pediatrician, builds independence. Suggested that the first 6 people share a room. Months, I said. It lowers SIDS. Danger. Eleanor's tense grin fell short of her gaze. Well, we didn't in my day. Need medical advice on how to raise kids. These little critiques turned into a trend. When Lily began to behave well. Meals, Eleanor maintained that I was presenting some foods too soon or too late. When Lily threw a fit in. With Eleanor here, I'd get a talk on the importance of discipline and reminders that James has never acted in that manner. My biggest concern was how, in public, Eleanor discredited my parenting of Lily. According to Grandma, you can have, she would remark, another cookie, after I'd declared unequivocally that one was sufficient. Or, you're not forced to nap by Grandma at my home, portraying me as the villain. Man. James observed these conflicts, yet frequently disregarded them. Just Mom. Mom, he would say. She means well. He was admirably loyal to his mother. However, it was annoying when I needed him to defend the parenting choices we have made. Eleanor's preference for James was evident. She sent care and called him every day. Parcels to his lodgings throughout business travels, and called him my ideal son in discussions. Their close bond was the result of James. When he was 12, his father passed away, leaving Eleanor will raise him by herself. I got it. Their relationship, but hoped she could deepen her devoted circle to encompass me and honor my position as Lily's mom. Lily herself was delightful, astute and shockingly truthful. Grandma used to say that her house smelled funny. Declared. Such as elderly individuals and those stinking flowers. I had to suppress a chuckle as you gently clarify, we don't make such remarks about people's residences. Lily's candid remarks frequently helped me understand what transpired while she was seeing Eleanor as I felt that encouraging open communication was important. Alongside my daughter. Families don't maintain secrets from one another. I would inform Lily. You can always talk to your mother about anything. Even if you're concerned that someone might angry. This way of thinking straight. In opposition to Eleanor's generational conviction that family businesses endure. Private, kids should be observed, and not heard. Our disparate methods produced an anxiety that pervaded everything. Plans for childcare were made. This leads me to that October Tuesday. I got a pressing email from my Manager at 4 p.m. A significant possibility. The customer requested to view our facility. The following morning, and as a senior, I had to get a therapist ready. Presentation that highlights our programs for recovery. This would need to put in more hours at work. Then getting there early the following day, which means Lily needed to be looked after overnight. I would often call my best buddy Amy, who has a daughter the age of Lily. Sadly, Amy's relatives were in town. Family members in Michigan. My folks lived 3 states distant. My go-to babysitter was not accessible. I attempted to phone James. However, his phone immediately went to voicemail. He spent some time in Seattle. Conference, most likely in meetings all day. Having run out of alternatives, I hesitantly gave Eleanor a call in spite of our distinctions. She lived and loved Lily. Only 20 minutes away. She responded on the third ring. "Hey Eleanor, this is Megan," remarked, attempting to seem positive. "I detest having to. I have employment, so I'm asking at the last minute. Crisis. Are you able to observe? Overnight, Lily? I would go get her first. Something in the morning." The silence continued. Only long enough to allow me to uneasy before she answered. "I can bring my granddaughter, of course. When are you going to bring her?" "An hour." Afterward, I arrived to Eleanor's clean driveway. Her 2-story. A Victorian house was always ideal. Kept up with well-groomed hedges and decorations for the season. Lily jumped. In her vehicle seat, she was excited. In spite of my concerns over Eleanor's parenting viewpoints, Lily truly delighted in going to the home of Grandma Ellie, which contained a wealth of fascinating antiquities and confectionery bowls that are hidden. "Recall your politeness," Lily was reminded as we accompanied her to the front door. "Bag for the night. And give me a call if you need." Eleanor opened the door and said, "Anything?" Before to our knock, dressed in a bright blue pearls and a cardigan. Her hair was silver. Exquisitely styled in spite of the the afternoon. "There's my sweet girl." She leaned down to Lily's level and cooed her. Her smile narrowed as she stood up straight to talk to me. "Megan, you appear to be under stress." "Just unexpected," I said after a long day. "Once again, thank you for everything. I'll tomorrow pick her up at around 7:30. "Good morning." "I'll be all right, Eleanor." Taking Lily's bag, he said. I brought up a child successfully, in the end. As I bent down to bid Lily farewell, and unexpected, I felt a surge of anxiety. "Be good for Grandma," I muttered as I gave her a hug. Extremely tight. "My dear, you are loved." "Mommy, you too." Lily chirped, already. She was preoccupied with the cookie she saw on the table in the hallway. As I made my way back I looked back at my car and saw Eleanor's silhouette in the entrance, with one hand on the other waving at Lily's shoulder. Farewell with a rigid, armed motion that felt more like a dismissal than a goodbye. I couldn't describe the knot that was developing in my stomach as I departed in my car. There was just one night, after all. The demonstration. I stayed at the workplace to prepare until it's almost midnight. In between making slides, I texted, rehearsing my delivery. For updates on Lily, ask Eleanor again. The few people responded. She's all right. Had ate dinner and engaged in doll play. And thereafter. Now go to sleep. Give up worrying. I desired to. Before going to bed, FaceTime with Lily, but that was not answered by Eleanor. I called James once more and left a voicemail outlining the circumstances. That night I slept in fits. My dreams, in which I have nebulous fears, couldn't precisely identify. I was startled by my alarm. Awake at 5:30 a.m. Following a brief shower. With coffee, I practiced my speech. Again prior to going to Eleanor's home. The dawn was clear and misty. Normal for Millfield in October. I excited to see Lily when I arrived at 7:25. Before hurrying out to work. Eleanor's home appeared differently in the morning. Overpowering as opposed to just elegant. All of the windows' curtains were still drawn, providing the impression that it is closed off. I waited longer after ringing the doorbell than anticipated before Eleanor responded, appearing remarkably well-groomed for early in the morning. "Good morning," she said, with a radiant grin that fell short of her gaze. "You're right on time," I replied. Entered the foyer and observed how everything was immaculate. Eleanor's home always have a museum-like appearance with vintage furnishings that appeared more for show rather than use. No proof of the existence of the child was apparent. No toys. No rumpled cushions, no sketches. "Lily, where are you?" I inquired, looking at my observe. "We must move quickly." Simply. Eleanor finished her breakfast. Said as she ushered me into the kitchen. She woke up this morning feeling a little grumpy. Most likely didn't get enough sleep in an odd bed. Sitting at the kitchen table was Lily, selecting an oatmeal bowl. When she spotted me rather than running as she usually does, she jumped into my arms and slipped away without a word. Her chair and went to give my legs. Her reserved demeanor at once raised concerns in my mind. "Well, good morning, my love," I replied, bending down to her level. "Did you enjoy yourself with Grandma?" Lily gave a silent nod. Her gaze flickered momentarily to Eleanor. Then she glanced down at her feet. "She's simply worn out." Eleanor spoke up, wiping the counter, which was already spotless. "We had a whole evening." I gave her more stories to read and let her watch a movie while she's up. "What? Did you watch the movie?" I questioned Lily. Straight. She shrugged, but she didn't making eye contact. Eleanor chuckled. "Hello." It was a forced tinkling sound. "Oh. She is suddenly acting bashful." It was only a princess film. Nothing noteworthy. "Lily. Proceed to the guest room to retrieve your suitcase. As I speak with your mom." As Lily. I saw that she stepped out of the kitchen. Her shoulders slowed unusually. A little stooped. "Does she feel well?" Eleanor inquired. "She doesn't seem right. Kids become irritable at times," Megan Eleanor stated contemptuously. "You cannot anticipate steady conduct for this age." James was the same, a flawless one. 1 minute, then silence the next. It's typical. Progress. Prior to pressing. Moreover, Lily brought her bag for the night. I went inside to make sure. Certain that we hadn't overlooked anything and observed that her favorite plush rabbit was absent. "Where's Mr. Floppy?" I asked. In reference to the well-used toy. Since the age of 2, Lily had shared a bed. I Lily said the first words, I don't know. Since my arrival, she had spoken. Eleanor. She gestured with her hand. Most likely left in the visitor's room. I'll locate it and deliver it. The next time I'm here. Something in her voice caused me to become suspicious, but with a presentation approaching, I was pressed for time to look around the house. Once again, thank you for, I said, observing her, taking Lily's hand. Thank you for the assistance. That's what Eleanor answered, family is for her. Her words and her smile don't quite match. We had a great time, Lily, didn't we? Lily instinctively nodded while holding my hand more tightly. The farewell was short and tense. On our way to the vehicle, I saw Lily staring at the house in the back with a look I had never seen previously, a mixture of fear and she climbed into her car seat in bewilderment. Without talking about Buckles as she usually does. And growing up. At one point, while traveling, I attempted to engage her in dialogue. Well, what did you and how was yesterday night, Grandma? Stuff, Lily said while glancing out the window, what sort of things? Did you engage in any gaming? A few games. Did you have a good dinner? It was all right. Her one-word responses were totally inconsistent with my typically talkative youngster. I noticed her in the rearview mirror. She had a propensity of biting her bottom lip. Shown while anxious or pondering deeply regarding something. Lily, my dear, are things going well? You can let me know if you're bothered by something. I'm just exhausted. Mommy, she said, continuing to gaze out the window. I abandoned the conversation. Presently, concentrating on driving and I am practicing my presentation in my mind. Whatever Lily was upset over, I'll take care of it after work. Mother-in-law may be challenging, but she cherished Lily, and it's likely that they had some small argument that appeared to be more significant in Lily's viewpoint at age 5. However, as I took Lily to preschool and dropped her off with extra hugs and assurances that she will be picked up early, I couldn't get rid of the sensation that something important had occurred. Straight. She shrugged, but she didn't making eye contact. Eleanor chuckled. Hello. It was a forced tinkling sound. Oh. She is suddenly acting bashful. It was only a princess film. Nothing noteworthy. Lily. Proceed to the guest room to retrieve your suitcase. As I speak with your mom. As Lily. I saw that she stepped out of the kitchen. Her shoulders slowed unusually. A little stooped. Does she feel well? Eleanor inquired. She doesn't seem right. Kids become irritable at times. Megan Eleanor stated. Contemptuously. You cannot anticipate steady conduct for this age. James was the same, a flawless one. 1 minute, then silence the next. It's typical. Progress. Prior to pressing. Moreover, Lily brought her bag for the night. I went inside to make sure. Certain that we hadn't overlooked anything and observed that her favorite plush rabbit was absent. Where's Mr. Floppy? I asked. In reference to the well-used toy. Since the age of 2, Lily had shared a bed. Lily said the first words, I don't know. Since my arrival, she had spoken. Eleanor. She gestured with her hand. Most likely left in the visitor's room. I'll locate it and deliver it. The next time I'm here. Something in her voice caused me to become suspicious, but with a presentation approaching, I was pressed for time to look around the house. Once again, thank you for, I said, observing her, taking Lily's hand. Thank you for the assistance. That's what Eleanor answered, family is for her. Her words and her smile don't quite match. We had a great time, Lily, didn't we? Lily instinctively nodded while holding my hand more tightly. The farewell was short and tense. On our way to the vehicle, I saw Lily staring at the house in the back with a look I had never seen previously, a mixture of fear and she climbed into her car seat in bewilderment, without talking about Buckles as she usually does. And growing up. At one point, while traveling, I attempted to engage her in dialogue. Well, what did you and how was yesterday night, Grandma? Stuff, Lily said while glancing out the window. What sort of things? Did you engage in any gaming? A few games. Did you have a good dinner? It was all right. Her one-word responses were totally inconsistent with my typically talkative youngster. I noticed her in the rearview mirror. She had a propensity of biting her bottom lip, shown while anxious or pondering deeply regarding something. Lily, my dear, are things going well? You can let me know if you're bothered by something. I'm just exhausted. Mommy, she said, continuing to gaze out the window. I abandoned the conversation. Presently, concentrating on driving and I am practicing my presentation in my mind. Whatever Lily was upset over, I'll take care of it after work. Mother-in-law may be challenging, but she cherished Lily, and it's likely that they had some small argument that appeared to be more significant in Lily's viewpoint at age 5. However, as I took Lily to preschool and dropped her off with extra hugs and assurances that she will be picked up early, I couldn't get rid of the sensation that something important had occurred. While you were there overnight, something incident had altered my typically vivacious daughter into this reserved, silent child. In spite of this, my presentation went smoothly. My diversion, and I was able to pick up Lily from work by 3:00 p.m. Preschool. Miss Barbara, her instructor, drew me away as the kids assembled their backpacks. It's all right with today, Lily? Quietly, she inquired. She's been atypically reclusive. Didn't engage in circle time or engage in play with her typical recess companions. She spent last night with her granny. I clarified, I believe she may be exhausted. Was she even angry? Miss Barbara gave a headshake. Not angry, just silent. Not like her at all. This verification of Lily's altered conduct increased my level of concern. While driving home, Lily said nothing, grasping her rucksack on her shoulder rather than describing her day to me as usual. Would I put up our special at home conversing area, the comfortable nook of the floor pillows in the living room where we have our most crucial discussions. I created Lily's preferred snack. Slices of apple. Sitting cross-legged and eating peanut butter opposite her. You, Lily Bug. Can you tell Mommy anything? No. Whatever the case. Carefully, she nodded, putting a slice of apple into the peanut butter. Butter. Did something occur at Grandma's house? Something about Eleanor's home that makes you feel. Are you depressed or anxious? Lily's bottom lip shuddered a little. She set down her apple slice and surveyed the area as though to see if anyone else could hear. Mommy, she muttered, bending toward. Grandma advised me not to tell you what I observed. My heart rate immediately multiplied, but my face remained the same. Impartial. That's odd. In our household, we don't conceal anything from one another. Remember, dear, what did you see? Tears filled Lily's eyes. I don't wish for Grandma to be in danger. Won't cause problems for Grandma, I promised her, but I wasn't sure if it was. Yes, Mommy simply has to realize that. What's going on so I can assist, Lily? Fidgeting with her shirt's hem. I woke up and looked at the floor. Went get water yesterday night. Grandma said I could obtain it on my own as I'm a large girl. Pulling herself together, she paused. As I was returning to my room, Grandma was heard conversing downstairs. Intended to be asleep. What sort of? I asked softly, talking? Angry talking? Not a grandfather, but a grandmother and a man. Distinct guy. My throat constricted. Did. Lily nodded. You see this man? I went to. He entered via the stairs and peered down. Via the rear entrance. He wore a scratchy face and a hat. Shown by massaging her cheeks. Signifying a stubble or beard. What were? Did they sound irate when they discussed that? Cash and a substance known as the stuff. People are asking, the man stated. Inquiries concerning the items and Grandma. Lily's statement was, nobody knows it's here. The voice had become hardly audible. They proceeded to the basement after that. Eleanor was prohibited from using her basement during our trips, ostensibly due to adult items and hazardous antiques kept there. I had never asked about it before. Lily, what came next? I went down because I was afraid yet wanted to see. More steps, as silent as a mouse. She bent forward with her tiny shoulders as though she were reliving the incident. We're transporting parcels from the white items packed in the basement. Placing them in large black bags made of plastic. My thoughts whirled with potential outcomes. None of them were good. Grandma then saw me. Lily went on, a tear streaming down her cheek. Her expression was one of fear and rage. Simultaneously. She informed the man. And came, it's just my granddaughter. Up to fetch me. She firmly grasped my arm. Lily stroked her upper arm tightly, and I slid her sleeve up softly to reveal a. There was a slight bruise there, and anger flashed within me, but I spoke calmly. Where else did she injure you? Lily trembled. She led me back to the visitor's head. I was having a nasty dream, I remarked in my chamber. If I told anyone about the man, she said. Regarding the parcels, malicious individuals would arrive. And remove me from you, she murmured. Would also be furious with me. Oh. I would never be angry with you, dear, for. I pulled her away and said, I'm being honest. Into an embrace. What followed? The man came upstairs and gave me a glance. Frightful. Lily's voice faltered. He displayed a pocket item to me. Was shiny and black, and she formed her hand. He claimed it was his particular weapon. Tool for non-listening children. Then, to aid me, Grandma gave me medication. Slumber. Medication? I inquired, startled. Sort of medication? Sweet and pink in a unique spoon. Benadryl for kids. I discovered my daughter had received from Eleanor. An antihistamine to make her unconscious following. Grandma sat with me and threatened her. Till I became really tired. She continued to. Claiming that everything was a dream and that I should forget all of it. However, it wasn't a. I noticed white powder on her in my dream, Mommy. Hands when she administered the medication to me. Similar like baking cookies, but not the same. The white wrappers made me feel ill. The covert actions, the dangers, the suspicious man, everything indicated drug-related behavior. Additionally, my 5-year-old daughter had seen it. Did you, Lily? Do you see or hear anything else? All. She paused to reflect. The man. Grandma Ellie Bell was summoned, and he said. Everything had to be moved because Rodriguez was the one who inquired. Inquiries. That particular feature made everything frighteningly authentic. This wasn't some miscommunication or innocuous justification. My mother-in-law, reportedly engaged in drug trafficking, had put my daughter in danger and permitted a harmful men to threaten her. Am I? Mommy, are you in trouble? Lily inquired in a tiny voice. I gave her a strong hug. Definitely not. You carried out the precise correct thing by informing me. You are the bravest girl I've ever met. Is Grandma present? Problem, I was careful with my word choice. Grandma made some poor decisions. Was incorrect, particularly advising you to don't scare you or conceal secrets from me. Loving grandmothers don't act like way. As Lily loosened up a little in my embrace, I confronted the terrible truth of our circumstance and the challenging choices in front of me. My mother-in-law revealed my child to illegal conduct and intimidated her into keeping quiet. What followed would never be the same. Following Lily's rest for a. I took a much-needed siesta and roamed our living room. My thoughts are racing with potential solutions. Initially, I wanted to call James, but his phone continued to go directly to. I left an urgent message on the voicemail. When you get this, James, give me a call. There is an urgent matter concerning your mother and. I'm not kidding, Lily. After that, I sat using my laptop at our kitchen table, investigating the warning indicators of drug trafficking and actions. Everything I read was consistent. What Lily explained. The key to meetings at night, the materials that are bundled. The dangers, someone's participation. Rodriguez, who was inquiring. Inquiries, probably from police enforcement or a competitor dealer. As I read more, the more I felt positive that Eleanor was engaged in the distribution of drugs, but being aware of something and demonstrating it were distinct issues. Would anyone think an account belonging to a 5-year-old? Would they? I assure you that Eleanor was a well-respected widow in the neighborhood, a typical church participant who helped out at the neighborhood gift shop in the hospital where I worked. Mom who had abandoned her child with. Grandma has an urgent work-related matter to attend to. The eyes of some people, which already made me the careless one. Next came the family angle. Should I bring Eleanor to the attention of? Repercussions would reverberate throughout the whole family. James would be heartbroken. His connection with his mom may be ruined. Holidays. Family get-togethers, Lily's bond. With just her granny, everything would be permanently changed, but as I thought these worries, a more robust idea appeared. What if I ignored it? My kid had been threatened by Eleanor, and granted entry to a dangerous criminal while taking care of Lily at home. She had gave distributed medicine without my authorization to conceal her actions. Most terrifyingly, she had demonstrated to Lily that family members ought to tell each other lies and conceal harmful information. If I stayed, what message would silence convey to? That we shield those who hurt us, Lily? As long as they're family, says the mother. To be honest, but fails to take action when I decided that it's inconvenient. I had to first record everything. Lily's memories was very vivid, so I received my phone and lulled Lily out of her slumber. I have a question for you, sweetie. Sitting on the edge, I said, important. Would it be acceptable if I recorded her bed? You're telling me what took place at Grandma's house? That would be beneficial. Recall everything. Lily concurred. And I filmed her for 10 minutes. Explaining everything. The man coming in through the rear entrance. The irate discussion regarding the items. Parcels from the below ground. Eleanor spotting her observing the dangers. Man displaying the firearm and medication to put her to sleep. Her account was left in line with what she had informed me earlier, giving her more legitimacy. Narrative. Following the recording, I dialed my Amy, a buddy who had just returned from her. Amy had supported me during my journey. Endless difficulties in parenting. And Robert, her spouse, was a criminal defense lawyer. I said, I need advice. When she responded, she said, something occurred at Eleanor's, and I'm not sure. What should I do? I described the circumstances. Lily was viewing cartoons in the living room. Amy paid attention without disrupting, then answering with I appreciated our friendship's directness. Megan, you need to call the police. This isn't a family, she stated firmly. Quarrel. Your daughter saw a drug trafficking and faced a threat from a potentially harmful offender. What if? Is Lily deemed a liability by this man? I got chills from what she said. However, it's the mother of James. I made a feeble protest. It feels like treachery to report her. Eleanor betrayed Lily by placing in peril. Amy retorted. Robert would say the same thing to you. Actually, allow me to obtain him. Robert answered the phone a second later. After learning the specifics, his counsel was clear-cut. Give the currently non-emergency police line. Describe. Because your daughter saw what seems to be drug use, and was in danger. They will want to conduct an interview. Her, most likely with an expert who's trained to communicate with kids. Don't. Megan, hold off on this. Additionally, avoid confrontation. You, Eleanor. That might be hazardous. I hung up and then sat in several minutes of quiet, the weight of the choice weighing heavily on me. Then I gazed at Lily, contentedly observing her performance, naive and believing that she would be protected by the grown-ups in her life. At last, mother instinct triumphed over everything. Additional factors. I called the number that isn't an emergency for Millfield Police Department. The dispatcher responded right away, and I took a long inhale. I must report a potential instance of drug trafficking that, as my daughter, age 5, observed, I murmured, sounding more steady than I had anticipated. Her grandmother's house was where she was staying. House and noticed some suspicious packages. A menacing man, and felt threatened into remaining silent. The dispatcher took fundamental data, followed by the transfer of to a detective. I reiterated my account, including information regarding Eleanor's, the man Lily, the basement, and the home. Had explained. Mrs. Reynolds, according to what you're telling me, we want to talk to you and your daughter as soon as possible. As much as possible. This is what the investigator stated. Could be linked to a continuing research. Would you be able to attend the station this evening? We'll be there. I pledged. A feeling of both relief and fear sweeping across me. Now the wheels were in motion, and no turning would occur. Back. The police station in Millfield was busier on a Tuesday than I anticipated. Evening. Lily held on to her packed elephant as an alternative to the still missing Mr. As floppy as we were. Led to a tiny space with a modest table with crayons and seats. Paper. Clearly, the area was planned to comfort kids during challenging discussions. Sarah Hayes, detective. She identified herself as a 40-year-old lady with good vision and a straightforward manner. She had Marissa Collins with her, an expert in conducting child interviews. Witnesses. Thank you, Mrs. Reynolds. Detective Hayes responded, you're coming in, as we took our seats. We'll require to talk to Lily by yourself. However, you can observe using the observation window to see if that improves your comfort levels. I told Lily about this, and she appeared too fearful but courageous. These individuals assist. Keep children safe, I advised her. Similar to. You can tell them, and you tell me the truth. Whatever you observed at your grandmother's home. On the other side of it, I'll be right there. Window. Such as when I visit the physician and. Lily said, you're still there? Indeed. I told her, like that. From the. I observed in the observation room as Marissa built a relationship with Lily. Beginning with casual remarks regarding her favorite educational activities and cartoons. Before easing into the last evening. Lily's account was still active, reliable, and Marissa's talented. Asking questions helps elicit more specifics without directing or implying. On the man's arm was a photograph of Lily. Disclosed, gesturing to her forearm. Similar to a crown-wearing serpent. Furthermore, where did they? After removing the bags from the basement? Marissa inquired. In the man's vehicle. It was large, black, and resembled a not that large, but a monster truck. Beside me, Detective Hayes took notes. A serpent with a crown and tattoos is. She is connected to the Coronado cartel. Whispered. Additionally, the car sounds like an SUV, an Escalade, perhaps. This corresponds to information that we have been collecting. When the interview came to an end, Lily was returned to me by Marissa with commendation for her bravery and collaboration. After that, Detective Hayes sat with me while Lily was taken by another officer to see the station's golden retriever for treatment. Buddy is the retriever's name. Mrs. Reynolds, I must be honest with you, Hayes stated, after Lily had left the airshot. Your daughter's story is consistent with an continuous drug investigation distribution system functioning in Millfield and the neighboring counties. We've had the home of Eleanor Matthews under sporadic monitoring based on referrals and odd trends in visitors, but lacking sufficient grounds to get a search warrant. The disclosure that Eleanor had previously been. I was shocked to see it on police radar. You have been. How long did you watch her house? That's as a component of an ongoing inquiry that I can't tell you everything, but I can tell you that the testimony of your daughter, together with, given our current level of intelligence, it provides us justification for requesting an accelerated search warrant for the property. My phone rang. James, you're answering my calls at last. I told Hayes that I had to take this. It's my husband. She gave a nod. Go slowly. He will also need to make a statement. Particularly because it belongs to his mother. Property. I entered the corridor to respond. Where have you gone, James? I've called for hours. Apologies. Return to. I kept my phone off and attended back meetings all day. What's happening? Your communication sounded very seriously. Breathing deeply, I described everything. Lily's story. The risks, the dubious parcels. And the reality that we were at the police headquarters. You stole our about my mother to the police, daughter. James's voice ascended in shock without even speaking to me first. What, Megan? What were you thinking? I was considering safeguarding our daughter, I answered, attempting to maintain a steady voice. James, Lily noticed a gun and narcotics. She was intimidated and given a Benadryl prescription. What did you want me to do? Do not hurry to the worst possible outcome. Avoid dragging the police investigation into a family issue before we may speak with Mom and determine what actually took place. The pain and rage in his tone was deep. This isn't a. I insisted on a misunderstanding. The police cite the fact that your mother's home was under monitoring. They had already worry about drug use there. That's absurd, James sneered. My mother is a widow who bakes and is 62 years old. Cookies to collect money for the church. This has to be an error. Then return home and listen to. Take Lily's account yourself, I said. Neither I nor anyone else is making this up. She. There was a brief pause in the line. James sighed deeply before saying, I'll book the subsequent departure flight. Expect to arrive home by morning. As I made my way back to Detective, my phone buzzed with a text message from Hayes. Mrs. Wilson, our neighbor, Megan. Tonight at Eleanor's house, odd cars. Lots of action. All right? I presented Hayes with the message, who pulled out her radio right away and talked quickly into it. In a matter of minutes, she told me that the police were being sent to inspect Eleanor's home. Avoiding contact. Mrs. Reynolds, we'd like Lily and you to remain friends. Where Eleanor wouldn't be tonight. Anticipate, Hayes suggested. Until we carry out the search order, it's preferable to be careful. Do you have a secure location where go? I contacted Amy, who promptly provided a guest room to her. By 8 p.m. Amy's residence was where Lily and I were staying. The realization of our predicament from my mother-in-law, I was hiding. As officers were getting ready to search her house. According to the testimony of my daughter, my life had not equipped me for. At this time, as Lily played with, I sat with Emma, Amy's daughter, in there. The wait in the kitchen with Amy and Robert. Of the events of the day finally striking me. What if I'm mistaken? I muttered. Is it for nothing that this destroys our family? You're not incorrect, Robert told me. There would be no police pursuit of a search if Lily's account didn't match the warrant. Further proof that they already possess. Megan, you did the right thing. The difficult thing, but the proper one. That evening, lying with Lily in Amy's guest bed, I huddled up against me and gazed at the ceiling, pondering what might occur tomorrow. James would be on his way. They would search Eleanor's home and nothing would be the same in our household. Finally, I started to sleep in fits. Dreams with eerie characters and parcels in white plastic wrapping. The search warrant was carried out about 6 in the morning. The next morning, I discovered this. Detective Hayes made a call to tell me that Eleanor was abducted. Taken into arrest following substantial evidence. Was discovered in her house at around $43,000 in cash, kg of cocaine, 3 unregistered guns and different types of drugs. Packing supplies. We discovered all of this in a secret underground room, reached via what seemed to be according to Hayes, there was a wine cellar. Moreover, a plush bunny that might be your daughter. I verified, Mr. Floppy. Felt bad about what Eleanor had concealed. Lily's cozy toy in her medicine cabinet. Space. Now what? Ms. Matthews is being examined and interrogated. Asking for legal counsel and hasn't supplied any significant information as of yet. We'll require that you and your spouse attend the station later today for more declarations. James' aircraft touched down around 7:30. I picked him up at the airport in the morning. Lily is dozing off in her car seat following our disturbed evening. The conflict between us was evident when I was driving. Have you heard from your mom? I inquired. No, James. But I have 17, he said in a hollow voice. Missed calls from unidentified numbers that began at midnight, most likely her attempting to contact me while incarcerated. He turned to gaze at me. His face was a mix of rage and perplexity. Are you, Megan? Completely certain of what Lily said. You? Sometimes children make things up. James, this wasn't made up. The police discovered precisely what she had described, drugs, guns, everything, in the basement. Our daughter was threatened by her mother. Introduced her to risky criminals. James fell silent, peering out the window at the familiar streets of our town, now changed by this new reality. When we arrived at Amy's residence, he walked straight to Lily, who had woken awake and was eating breakfast with Emma. I observed from the doorway as he knelt near her chair. Hey, pumpkin, he murmured quietly. Daddy missed you. Lily's face lighted up momentarily before clouding over. Are you furious at me about Grandma? No, dear. I'm not mad with you, James assured her. Though I could see his face's strain. Can you tell me what happened at Grandma's house? It's quite significant. Over chocolate chip pancakes, Lily described what happened to her. Once more using the same information she'd given to the police and me, James. As I listened, I noticed a change in his expression. From disbelief to horror to sorrow, and the man showed you his unique instrument? James asked thoughtfully. Lily gave a nod. In his pocket thoughtfully. It was dark and glistening. It was for children who don't, he said. Pay attention. James momentarily closed his eyes. Then gave Lily a firm embrace. I appreciate you being honest with me. You did nothing wrong, pumpkin. Afterward, as Lily and Emma played beneath Amy's, James and I sat under Robert's supervision. Home office to have a private conversation. I require, James remarked, to see her, running his hands through his hair. I must hear straight from my mom. The detective stated that we might visit the station this afternoon, I answered. They desire our formal declarations nevertheless, James said, nodding. His face stiffening. I had faith in my entire existence. Following the death of my father, she was my inspiration, juggling 2 jobs, and never not going to my baseball games, which puts me. How could she have done this through college? How could she endanger Lily? He had no replies, so we sat in silence. Till the moment came to depart for the police station. The procedure was exhausting. Official declarations, documentation and conversations with prosecutors on the potential nature of Lily's evidence. Managed in the event that a trial was held. James was allowed to visit under supervision with Eleanor during an interview as I remained with Lily, and upon his return 30. His face was pale a few minutes later. As we strolled, he whispered, confessioned. Not to everything, but to the car. Sufficient. She began allowing her drugs are kept in her home by her boyfriend. Years prior to her entering the finance. A reverse mortgage gone awry is trouble. He promised quick cash for credit card debt. Just for offering a place of safety where no. I questioned if anyone would suspect her lover. Startled. Eleanor had never brought up dating someone, and Marco has been seeing him since. Apparently, 3 years. Another thing she held from me. James's tone was resentful. She stated that she was merely storing packages first, without trading, but later. Marco persuaded her that she could earn more funds by assisting in the distribution to choose clients, primarily affluent individuals in her social networks that want private. Lily Rodriguez, the Rodriguez person, cited a competitor dealer who was receiving wary about Marco's scheme. They were shifting everything for that reason. That evening, they believed they could. Raided. Lily was taken from the location for kids where a police officer had been playing games to keep her busy. On the way home, James kept sharing what he had discovered. She attempted to assign. You mentioned that you were absent. Mother who put her career above her family. That Lily and I were being poisoned by you. He shook his head in opposition to her disdain. I quickly put an end to that. Told her that her right to criticize had been taken away. You're parenting when she revealed our drug trafficker's daughter and threatened her. That evening, following her eventual, we let Lily sleep in her own bed. Received alarming information from the detective. Hayes Eleanor's boyfriend Marco had discovered to be Marco Vasquez, a middle-tier distributor with contacts to the cartel of Coronado. He stayed at Big, and there were worries that he might consider Lily to be a liability for recognizing. We're stepping up patrols in your neighborhood, Hayes promised. We'll have an unmarked vehicle surveillance system. You're home overnight. Simply proceed as usual. Take care. Keep windows and doors locked. Pay attention to where you are. The days that followed were a haze of legal discussions and plans for Lily to consult a pediatric psychologist, and our new normal is being adjusted to. Eleanor, kept in detention, refused bail because worries about flight risk. The prosecutor showed that she was thinking about collaborating in return for indulgence, supplying details regarding the bigger distribution system. James had trouble profoundly with the treachery. Each recollection he admitted that his perception of her was now distorted. One evening when Lily had gone to sleep. Was she? When she arrived at Lily's, she was distributing drugs. Birth? The moment she assisted us in relocating to this How long has she been residing in this house? Double life? We made the decision to have children. Therapy to support us, Lily in particular. Work with the trauma. Dr. Sanderson, a child psychologist with expertise in tragedy. Lily was able to comprehend what occurred was not her fault, and she had taken the proper action by being honest with me. Grandma made very poor decisions, Dr. Sanderson clarified too. Lily, sometimes the people we love do bad things. And it's frightening and perplexing. However, your parents are doing all to ensure your safety. 3 weeks. Following Eleanor's apprehension, Marco was still. Overall, we had to make the tough choice to relocate. There were too many recollections and the understanding that Eleanor understood every aspect of our existence there. From our timetables to our protection system made us anxious all the time. Discovered a ranch-style house with 3 bedrooms. Still attending Lily school across town district, yet in an exclusive neighborhood with improved security. The relocation was taxing, but restorative, providing us with a new beginning. In an area free of treachery. James. His path to acceptance wasn't easy. Went to see Eleanor in prison twice more, each shorter visit than the previous one. Following on his 3rd visit, he brought reined eyes, but a determined look. He is still attempting to defend everything. Claimed to have done that for me. Maintain her financial autonomy so she wouldn't be an inconvenience. As though disclosing our family has some sort of ties to drug cartels. Of maternal sacrifice, extended family. There were conflicting responses. James' cousins in Colorado was helpful. Eleanor's sister, his aunt, claimed that we had fabricated evidence to rob Eleanor's home, an absurd claim since we had no interest in the property, which has been contaminated by criminal action. 6 weeks following the arrest, Marco Vasquez was caught while attempting to enter Canada. His apprehension brought tremendous relief, eliminating the residual worry that he could try to exact revenge against Lily. I was amazed throughout the whole at my daughter's fortitude. Despite the fact that she occasionally experienced nightmares and went through a period of fearing the dark, she also displayed exceptional strength. One night, while I was tucking her, she looked up as she got into bed in our new home. Thoughtfully at me. Mom, did I have courage to share with you Grandma's dark secrets? The most courageous, I reassured her, calming her hair. You carried out our exact. Always discussing and speaking the truth. Even when it's challenging. She thought. Embracing the new plush rabbit that had swapped Floppy for Mr. If Granny improves and ceases acting badly, will she continue to be my grandmother? My heart was broken by her inquiry. She will always be your grandma, I said cautiously. But persons have to earn our trust when they break it. It might be a long time before Granny can do that. This seemed to appease Lily, who nodded seriously before closed her eyes. As I saw my daughter slip into comfortable sleep, I reflected on how my original instincts concerning Eleanor had turned out to be accurate. Subtle critiques, the damage, the domineering conduct, everything had been warning indications of someone used to deceit. I hadn't believed my instincts sufficient previously, but I would never make that error once more. A few lessons are too costly. 6 months after following Eleanor's incarceration, life had become. Our new home seemed like a new normal. Ours now, brimming with new experiences and free from the specter of treachery. Lily had adapted to the adjustments quite nicely, her innate fortitude coming through, despite sporadic obstacles. Eleanor's. The legal matter had been settled more faster than anticipated, facing compelling proof, as well as numerous grave accusations. She agreed to a plea deal agreement, a minimum penalty of 6 years. Security center in return for thorough details regarding the medication distribution network in which she had participated. The data resulted in a number of further arrests, including a few surprisingly well-known locals who had been frequent clients. James had started the protracted healing process. Despite his mother-child relationship, remained essentially changed. After extensive therapy and introspection, he had went to see Eleanor at the prison facilities. A heated discussion that went on for hardly half an hour. She appears older, he later, smaller in some way, she told me. Genuinely seemed honest in their apology. Claimed that she didn't intend for things to go so. He shook his head, and I informed her that I pardoned her personally, but that our relationship would change forever, and that any correspondence with Lily in the future would be fully compliant with our strict oversight. This methodical methodology represented James' development during treatment, neither completely ignoring his mother, nor hastily re-establishing the confidence that had been utterly destroyed. Marriage had survived the turbulence as, nevertheless, coming out stronger after the emergency. The first conflict between us had changed into a more profound admiration for one another's advantages. James appreciated my prompt action to safeguard Lily, although I appreciated his capacity to confront the unpleasant reality of his mother without discounting reality. I continued to think, pondering what may have occurred if Lily. James stated that she hadn't told you what she observed. We were sitting on our new back one evening porch. Had Eleanor been able to frightening her into quiet? I make an effort not to consider it. I acknowledged the possibilities are too terrifying. Family counseling had been quite beneficial to all of us, particularly the lessons that concentrate on sound communication and boundaries. Dr. Sanderson had assisted us in becoming older. Suitable methods for talking about challenging subjects with Lily, stressing that family was always subordinated to honesty and safety. Loyalty in situations where the two clashed. At Grandma's place, what transpired was worried, Lily informed Dr. Sanderson during. I will never forget that one session, but Mama thought I had returned home with my father, and now the nasty guy is in our new home. Is unaware of our residence. Her straightforward summary encapsulated the main points of what we had been attempting to instruct her on that while we were powerless over other people's options, we could establish security by integrity, action, and family harmony. The way the community responded to our predicament has been mostly encouraging. My coworkers rallied at the rehabilitation facility around us, filling in for shifts as necessary and protecting our confidentiality. Lily's. The school added more protection. Actions that don't stigmatize her. Handling the matter with the proper. Taking things seriously yet remaining natural in her daily schedule, which we discovered unexpected. Friendship with Hayes, the detective, who had exceeded expectations throughout the inquiry. She periodically paused by to see how we were doing, bringing her therapy. Dog companion with whom Lily can play. Visits contributed to the normalization of police presence, changing them from figures for Lily Connected to a period of trauma into community volunteers who had protected her. Regarding Eleanor's home, James made the decision to sell it and use the money raised to support a local group that helps kids impacted by the imprisonment of my parents. Not interested in anything from the area of our lives, he clarified. However, perhaps some. It can be beneficial. One chilly fall afternoon, over 1 year later, Lily arrived for that fatal overnight stay. Home with a family after kindergarten. Tree task. She laid out the sheet of paper on. Looked up at me from our kitchen table. Unsurely. Should I continue to put Grandma on my tree, Eleanor? I sat as she asked. Next to her, carefully selecting my words. You still have Grandma Eleanor in your history of the family, dear. She made extremely poor decisions that harmed our family. And she is being held accountable for those options. However, individuals are complex. They are capable of making mistakes and still having. Previously, Lily was good in different ways. Thought about this, then meticulously penned. On one branch of the Grandma Eleanor tree. Below it, she included her handwriting shaky, life's far distant. Now. Her straightforward notation encapsulated the emotional and physical separation that currently existed and were explained in a way she could recognize and accept. That night, as James assisted Lily in getting ready for bed, and I heard what they were saying through the door half open. If I ever view something frightening once more, I ought to. Nevertheless, even if someone claims. James answered, not to, always, pumpkin. Decisively. Courageous individuals speak the truth even when it's difficult, like you did, like your mother. Trusted me despite the fact that it was about Grandma. That's exactly what true love is all about. Appears. Having faith in one another and protecting one another. Their conversation drew me to tears. Verification. That in spite of all that, we were teaching our daughter the proper lessons. About genuine family, honesty, and trust. Allegiance. The experience of going through this had changed us in 1,000 ways. Had found strength I was unaware I possessed, the bravery to act despite doubt, to remain steadfast when turning away would have been simpler. James discovered the parent he idolized had serious flaws, but discovered the ability to recognize reality without allowing it to undermine his skills. To have faith in other people. Lily had learned the important lesson that voicing concerns about misconduct, even when it was always the right decision, to be afraid. A family, we had learned that genuine. Sometimes, love demands difficult choices and difficult realities. That disruption is sometimes necessary for protection. That recovery doesn't happen in a tidy timeline, but it comes and goes. In brief instances of normalcy and link. If you're viewing this and having to make your own impossible decision between being loyal to one's family and doing what's yes, I hope our tale provides you with bravery. The most difficult choices are the most important ones. Safeguarding. Your kids are more than just physical safety. It's about proving yourself to them. Your behavior, that the truth is important. Their opinions should be heard, and that quiet is never necessary for true love in. Have you ever had to deal with the face of wrong? Make a challenging decision to safeguard. Have you or someone you love stood up for you when things weren't simple? Tell. Share your tales in the space provided here. If this account was helpful to you, please share, like, and subscribe. with a person who might require that. They are not alone in their struggles. Family circumstances. I appreciate you hearing about our trip. And keep in mind, while deciding between cozy, hidden facts and unsettling realities, the truth will free you no matter what, regardless. When the journey is unpleasant,